year.
Well, Shane, on a more positive note here, I know you're excited to talk about it. Tennessee, your Tennessee Vols, Shane, back in the top 25, and then just like a Tennessee fan, you're thinking, oh my God, we were in the polls for a week. We're about to blow it. But that's not what happened. This is a new era under Josh Heupel. Tennessee goes on the road, wins 34-27 over a ranked Pitt team in overtime.
Yeah.
And speaking of, an award, Shane, I want to give this out. Assistant Coach of the Week. I'm giving it to Tim Banks, defensive coordinator. Shane, how often we have to hear all off season this Tennessee defense? Well, Tennessee's only as good as their offense can take him because this defense is garbage. Yeah. They got no playmakers. And they were not flawless by any means, but you know what they did do, Shane? They hit this quarterback 16 times. We're not sitting here rooting for injuries, but they knocked the starting quarterback out. That was huge in the game. 4 sacks. How many Tennessee fans are saying, well, my God, we couldn't even get a sack on Ball State? Well, they sacked Pitt 4 times. 1 interception by Trayvon Flowers that Tennessee was down 10-0 in the ball game. I think they would have lost this game, Shane, if Pitt went up 17-0. It just had that feeling like Pitt was dominating, but an interception in the end zone swung that momentum. 2 forced fumbles by the Tennessee defense. Tim Banks earns my Assistant Coach of the Week award. His group was it's not often you can say a Tennessee defense won you a ball game, but this is, I think, where you want to be if you're Tennessee, Shane. You don't want it to just be all on your offense. And I know Josh Heupel and Hendon Hooker, we should have one of the best offenses in the country, but a complete team, Shane, going on the road, beating a ranked team, you're going to need your defense to step up because this is going to happen 3 or 4 more times in conference play. You're going to need your defense to step up a time or two to win a tough ball game, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head when they say you're only as good as your offense. I think we're only as good as our defense. Yeah. And they had an opportunity, don't get me wrong, it started out ugly. I was telling Mike, we were texting back and forth. I said, the only thing about us being this fast is nobody goes 3 and out faster than we do. And you do that 3 times in a row, you're looking at the scoreboard like, damn, So I was afraid to get too far behind. It felt like the momentum was going to be a thing here, but just battled back and forth. Tennessee played hard on both sides of the ball. They never gave up. I liked it. I loved the receiver Tillman, coming up. Yeah. Hyatt did great. I think, we're starting to see some of these other, even the running game. That's one thing that I guess if I was going to put like a little asterisk, something that probably needs improvement is that rushing attack. Yeah. We don't want to get too one-dimensional here, but that's the beauty of a Tennessee offense is if you do get down a couple scores, you're not out. You could be right back into this thing. So the defense giving us the opportunity to do that I commend your assistant award there.
Can't overlook this. I almost did, Shane, right before halftime. I believe there was 12 seconds left in the ball game. Pitt was getting a little cute. Mm-hmm. They were trying to see if they could steal a score here, but instead Tennessee's defense sacked the Pitt quarterback. Forced a fumble, they jumped on it, and Tennessee added a field goal right before halftime. And hell, you win in overtime. Those are the plays that get overlooked, but they're critical in winning the ball game. Brew McCoy, Shane, he was the one that really got the offense going. He's starting to come along. He had his best game yet as a Tennessee Vol. Hendon Hooker was pretty. They started very slow, but he finished 27 of 45, 325 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Tillman, 9 catches, 162, and the touchdown, the game winner. But, Shane, you got to admit, you were nervous here when...
Hell yeah, I was nervous. I'm always nervous.
Tennessee had complete control of this ball game, Shane, and then Pitt blocks a punt. And then you're thinking, God, here we go again. And then the very next possession, Jalen Wright fumbles. Pitt got the ball right back. Oh, God. And then Trayvon Flowers buffs a punt. Tennessee was trying to give his damn game away. I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to win. Again, it's incredibly difficult to go on the road and win against a Power 5 team. And not even taking into consideration, this is a ranked ball club. This is not some scrub team Tennessee was playing. You go into overtime, Hendon Hooker scores a touchdown, and then they get a flag, and it's like, oh, God, This is the Tennessee way. But this is a veteran quarterback, a veteran team. They didn't flinch, Shane.
Right.
Right back, scored a touchdown. You flip it back the other way. Pitt, they had their backup quarterback. It's 4th and long. You're thinking, okay, we got this. Then Pitt converts. You're like, oh, my God, this is the Tennessee way. And then here we got another 4th down, and, of course, that was the one that defined the game, incomplete. This is a resilient Tennessee team, unlike we have seen in recent seasons.
Yeah.
And, hell, even if you, like I said, you almost give this one away, all that matters, Shane. If we go 6-7 weeks down the line and Tennessee is, sitting here at 8-0 or 7-1 or whatever the record could be, no one is going to be saying, well, remember they almost lost to Pitt. All they look at is if you win or lose the game. And Tennessee got it done on the road.
Mike, it's a top 20 win. This is a huge win for Heupel and company, and it felt like there was a couple of times we were going to squander it, but that's what Tennessee does. We squander these things, and that little catch on the sideline, that one was the prime example. When I watched that replay, I was like, oh shit, he did step out. I was like, wait, that's not supposed to happen. This is Tennessee. So no, I was pumped up for the boys. They played hard. Again, leaned on the defense there late in the game to get the victory. I mean, when's the last time that's happened? Yeah. So this is a new Tennessee ball club, man. Top 20 win. Look how excited Heupel was, jumping in the arms of his players, dancing after the game. Man, these guys are all fired up. They're ready, man. Tennessee's hot, and I want them. And short of the mistakes that they made, this could easily have been a blowout, even though they started down 14-0. So I think the sky's the limit for these Vols, and I'm excited. I'm watching them grow, man. We're here, baby, and it. I don't know. I'm just proud of them.
We're
it's like my kids, It's like my kids, I watched them. We've been through some bad times, but look, now good things are happening.
Hey, we're not ready to crown them just yet, Shane. But to me,
I am. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know about you, Shane, but to me, this feels like a game where, all off season, that oftentimes Tennessee is hyped and they're often overhyped. This is a type of ball game where you win it, and I think the players believe the hype now, and they have the uber confidence. We'll get to their next game. I mean, it's a joke, but then you got Florida coming in. I mean, there is an outstanding opportunity, and then all of a sudden, I mean, maybe LSU rights the ship, but that does not look like a challenging game either. If the confidence grows, if we eliminate the mistakes, Tennessee could have a very, very, very special season here.
And I got a buddy that texted me, and I want to give him a shout out, Bucky, good friend of mine. And he's like, he made mention, you got to remember, this was supposed to be Army this week. And, so now we don't have to waste a whole week of preparing for an offense we'll not see the rest of the year. We can actually work on some of the mistakes we made with Pitt and better correct ourselves as a tune-up game, so when we play Florida, we'll be better prepared. So I just thought that was a really interesting point, something I didn't think about, but that's who we should have been